What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, just another PokeTuber, coach of your Piedmont Triad Kickers, coming at you today with our draft analysis for NBBCL Season 2 Champions Edition, the Nova's Baker Battalion Champions League. We are the Piedmont Triad Kickers, and this is where we started our VGC journey. And, we went 2-5, so hopefully we can improve upon that. Not that it's like a high bar to, pass, but this league was a learning experience. I feel like we've improved since our first season, and hopefully our performance here can show that. But before I get too deep into the draft analysis, I do have to make a very big announcement for the channel. So first of all, we're not stopping draft, in case anybody's wondering that. Well, we're going to draft analysis, so I don't think that's the first thought that came to anyone's mind. But basically though, so how do I put this, guys? How do I put this? I have an acquaintance. I feel like it'd be very disingenuous to me to call him a friend, but I have an acquaintance who has two logos, right? Because I always wanted to kind of sort of rebrand, but I didn't want to get rid of the Piedmont Triad Kicker logo. But I also didn't want to be the guy who just uses a random logo for one-off leagues. I didn't want to do that either. And I have an acquaintance who he uses one logo for his singles leagues and one logo for his doubles leagues, and I thought I would just take his idea and do the same thing. So we will continue to use the Piedmont Triad Kicker logo for a point of reference. This logo right here, we will continue to use this logo for the duration of our singles drafts. We're never taking Cinderace away as our mascot. It's not happening. But for doubles, so VGC specifically, we will be using a different logo, and the logo we're going to use is going to consist of a Pokemon that's very close to me, a Pokemon I really like, and a Pokemon that most people, if you were to ask them, what would my team be in real life if Pokemon were real? Obviously, everyone thinks I'd have a Cinderace. No one in this world thinks, no one who knows me thinks I wouldn't have one. But another Pokemon that a lot of people associate me with is none other than Mr. or Mrs. Whimsicott, because we have a boy and a girl. Well, I think we have two boys and one girl, because we have the girl who's named Wimmy, and then we have two boys, one named Nimbus, one named Loki. All three of them are shiny, because you guys know I shiny hunt and do all that stuff in game. I don't really gin. But yeah, let me introduce you guys to the Virginia Beach Whimsicotts. So just for a lore dump on Mr. Just Another PokeTuber, the Piedmont Triad is the area I went to college in. And the Kickers were just the name of the local soccer team in the city I settled in. So Piedmont Triad Kickers is how we got to that name. In this case, the Virginia Beach Whimsicott. So the Whimsicott, is the mascot for this. And I feel like the Virginia Beach has a really nice ring to it. Virginia Beach is where I am from. It's not where I live, but it's where I'm from. And I mean, Whimsicott, this does not look like a Pokemon you would expect to see on a beach. You feel me? And in case you guys didn't see in the background, we have the Cinderace chilling while Whimsicott takes the stage type stuff. And I really appreciate, so this logo is made for me by a friend named Lazy Boy. Really appreciate him for making this logo for me. Especially considering, one, I didn't even, he just asked me what I wanted on the logo. I said, Whimsicott on the beach. I'll be happy with it. I didn't even ask about the Cinderace in the background. I think there's a really nice touch to it. And I also didn't even ask for the heal ball at the bottom, because he took the time to watch my videos and notice that I always catch my shiny Whimsicotts in heal balls. So he put a heal ball there to make it, feel more personal, and I really appreciate that. I think he did a wonderful job with his logo, and I'm really looking forward to using it in future drafts. And this is something I'm proud to have, associated to me, But yeah, guys, that's the major announcement for the draft. But yeah, but anyway, getting back to the draft itself, like I told you guys earlier, we're in the NBBCL. We participated in season 1, didn't do too well, went 2-5. So hopefully this season we can improve upon it, because like I said, I think we've gotten better. Just like last season, if I'm not mistaken. We were gifted 120 points to draft 9 to 11 Pokemon. We are allowed to have 1 to 3 Mega Captains. We have a 7-week season and then playoffs. So hopefully you guys get to see us for the next 10 weeks. Well, actually, it's probably gonna be more than that, because there's 24 coaches altogether that were split into 2 pools of 12, where the top 8 makes playoffs. So that means 16 people are in playoffs. So actually, you would see us for the next 11 weeks, I think. But anyway, uploads are not required, but clearly since we're making this video, that means we're going to try to upload. I know last season we really fell off. I was just in a bad headspace, but this season I plan to stay consistent with it. I promise. You guys can hold it to me, and if I don't do it, you know what? I'm gonna tell you guys right now. everyone who knows me knows I hate Toucannon with a passion. If I do not upload every game this season, I swear I will draft Toucannon in my very next doubles draft. Doubles draft. Let me just say that. So yeah, if I don't upload, if y'all don't see a weeks 1 through 7, you can hold me to this statement. However, if opponent forfeits that week, you can't really hold that against me. Okay. And also this draft is going to be at a team format. For those of you who are wondering what the heck I mean by that. So let's look at the people who are in my pool, for example, right? So in my pool, we had Jacobs, KJ2294, Omega BGC, Winter Firebro, Mystical Leafeon, Josie. We have me at pick 7. We have Pup, we have Josh, we have Adam Mew, TK Sandy, and Mr. TJP. Out of all these names, the only people I've never been in a draft with, as far as I know, are Josie, Winter Firebro, and KJ. Now, KJ's name does look very familiar, so maybe I have been in a draft with him, but we just never played. But Winter Firebro and Josie, I'm pretty positive I've never played with them a day in my life, but I played with everybody else, and I think they're all pretty good coaches. So, 4 coaches out of these 12 were team captains, and they were allowed to draft 2 people onto their team, which, so you know, we have 4 teams of 3. My teammates are Josh and TK Sanity. Josh was my team captain, and he chose me round 1, so you know I'm worth a round 1 draft pick. I really appreciate it. But yeah, that is the draft order. That is what I mean by the team part. In case anyone's wondering, like, what does it mean to be a part of a team? It basically just means that if we make it to play, so basically at the end of the season, the team with the highest record and or differential, because you can have the highest record but not the highest differential, right? The team that has the highest record basically gets to pick their playoff opponents from the bottom 4 or bottom 5. I'm not sure if it's bottom 4 or bottom 5, but regardless, once the 3 of us pick our opponents, it'll only leave 2 people left, because only the top 8 make playoffs, and then those 2 people play each other, so it works out, right? And I'm pretty sure there's some other benefits to it that that's just kind of like slipping my mind at the moment. But yeah, I think I've gone over the rules enough. I've gone over the team format thing enough. I've gone over like the logo. So I think all they left to do is get into my draft picks, right? So for the first round, I knew I wanted to have a strong Mega Pokemon, because we are in the MB regulation, if I haven't already mentioned that. So there's going to be a lot of new, like, stronger Megas. And also, because of last season, I really wanted to, you know, improve upon what I did, and you know, not just go 2 and 5 again, right? So for the first round draft pick, I decided to pick up a Pokemon that's really close to me. According to my mother, this was my first ever Pokemon, even though I'm pretty sure it was a Trico, but she told me my first Pokemon was a blue frog. If you think back to the first 3 generations, out of the 3 starters, you get the blue turtle Squirtle, you get the blue alligator Totodile, Crocodile, the blue Crocodile. Wait, but for alligators or alligator, you know what? I don't care, bro. Either way, we get to Gen 3 and we have, well, if it's not obvious already, we have Swampert. So for my round 1 draft pick, we picked up Kawamatsu, the Mega Swampert. If you watch One Piece, that name might be familiar to you. And if you don't watch One Piece, I highly implore you to find out about it. But in case anyone needs the lore dump, Kawamatsu and Swampert are based on the same mythological creature. But according to my mother, this was my first ever Pokemon. I swear I thought it was Trico, but you know, she runs a blue frog, and I mean, do you think I'm going to be the one to call my mother a liar? I'm just saying, bruh. But this mon is very strong. It hits, like, first of all, when you Mega Evolve, you get bulkier. You go from 90 defenses to 110 defenses. You get a little bit faster, going from 60 speed to 70 speed. And I know that sounds like a small increase, but this mon also gets the ability Swift Swim when it Mega Evolves, so it becomes a lot faster because you get double speed. This mon also hits really hard with its 150 attack stat that it gets after Mega Evolving, so you go from 110 to 150, and you use moves like Wave Crash, Liquidation, because sometimes you don't even need Wave Crash to actually kill stuff. Liquidation does it by it. Well, actually, I don't think it gets yeah, it does get Liquidation. You get Liquidation, so you know, there's that. You have high horsepower or earthquake, depending if you want to do like spread damage or single target, and then you can hit grass types with like Ice Punch. This mon also gets Wide Guard, and because of the way its speed tiers function in and out of rain, you can use it in rain for speed or in Trick Room. You know, as it's going to be quote unquote fast in Trick Room compared to some things, but it's also going to be slow compared to other things, so it really works out. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say by that. But yeah, Swampert is mainly here to be a really hard-hitting physical attacker. I use it on ladder, and I've been liking it, so hopefully I can replicate that success in draft. So yeah, that's Swampert. So for my next round draft pick, obviously, it's either I get another, so let's be real, you don't draft Swampert and not draft Rain. So it was either I get another potential Rain abuser or I get the Rain setter itself. And because there was 12 Pokemon that would go before it gets back to me, I felt like it would probably be more beneficial for me to get the Rain setter and then, you know, get another abuser for round 3, because realistically, all the Rain abusers are not going to get drafted in freaking round 2. Not everybody wants Rain. So if it's not obvious already, for my round 2 draft pick, I decided to pick up none other than Taxi, the Pelipper. So I had Politoed last season, so yes, we did draft Rain 2 seasons in a row. And in general, you guys have seen me draft Rain a lot, I know. Just bear with me. I am new to this, so I'm trying to learn. You know, I'm trying to get better. But also, people keep sniping me off of the things that I want, and I naturally just go to the things I'm comfortable with, which is Rain, because I really like using Rain on ladder. Like, I typically do well with it. But we have Pelipper. Pelipper's a really good support mod. It provides Rain for the Swampert. It gives me a way to kill grass types that Swampert is weak to, because it's only weak to grass. But Pelipper isn't mine. You can Hurricane him and kill him. Swampert can also switch into the electric moves that Pelipper is weak to, because Pelipper is only weak to electric and rock. And I guess you're weak to freeze dry, but not ice. So, I mean, you know, for the most part, Swampert can switch into like 2 of those. It switches into rock moves and it switches into electric moves. We are not switching Swampert into a freeze dry, though, but you guys get the idea. Pelipper provides us wide guard, so we can protect ourselves from spread damage. So, like, one of Swampert's biggest ops is Sinistcha, so they run Matcha Gotcha into us. They probably can't touch the Swampert. Pelipper also gets Weather Ball and Hurricane, which can be 100% accurate in Rain. And then the Weather Ball, you get a Rain boost as well as a stab boost, and you can also take advantage of other teams that try to set the weather, because a lot of the team compositions that revolve around like other weathers tend to have a lot of Pokemon that are also weak to, let's say, Weather Balls from that respective weather. So we can take advantage of that when, you know, in certain matchups. And then also this guy gets Tailwind, so in case someone tries to Tailwind me to basically make Swampert's speed null and void, I can Tailwind them. And I'm just saying, a +2, a Swift Swim Swampert with a Tailwind up, what is outspeeding that? Let's just be honest. But yeah, that is a Pelipper. So for my next round draft pick, I decided I had to get another abuser before, you know, I just couldn't get any more abusers. Not to mention Swampert and Pelipper, you know, I really wanted something that can switch into grass, because but neither one of them are actually grass resist. Swampert is 4 times weak. Pelipper is neutral because it's a water and a flying type. So if it's not obvious, my next round pick was none other than the Stapler Archaeodeezy, the Archaeodon. So this thing basically has 3 stabs, because with Pelipper being on the team, we can click Electroshot for free in the Rain. Normally we have to charge that move up, but now we don't have to, because in Rain, it's like Solar Beam in the sun. We can just fire it off and get a +1 attack boost, which makes us better than Solar Beam, actually. We're a Dragon Steel type, so our main moves will be like Flash Cannon with Dragon Pulse or Draco. It just depends on like how much we need to really kill something. Because I feel like in most situations, Dragon Pulse pairs a lot better with Electroshot than Draco does. But I mean, at the same time, a +1 Draco or a +2 Draco from our Archaeodeezy, you're not living that hit. I don't care who you are, unless you're a Fairy type, because then you're immune, right? So Archaeodon's mainly here to be a really good support, like a really good defensive mod, but it's also a really good offensive mod, and it also really helps that because of Pelipper being here, if we Tailwind, you're not outspeeding my Archaeodon. I'm just saying, even with a Choice Scarf mod, you're not outspeeding my Archaeodon. So Archaeodon is bulky enough and strong enough that if my opponent's if you don't have a way to remove it really fast, it can get out of hand really quick. But yeah, that is Archaeodon. So for my next round draft pick, I knew whenever I draft like weather, I really like having a prankster mon that can reset the weather in case I need it, because you know Pelipper can die, right? So I decided for the next round to go with the mon that I'm really comfortable with, in the form of Saturn, the Meowstic. Now I did want to get Sableye, but Sableye got taken. I wanted Sableye for like fake out screens, rain dance. Couldn't do that, so we went with the next best thing, which in my opinion is Meowstic. Meowstic also gets fake out. It really can do anything Sableye can do. It just doesn't get Recover, Disable, or Encore, or Will-O-Wisp, but you can still T-Wave, you can still set dual screens. Unlike Sableye, though, you do get Trick Room and Psychic Terrain, which will matter later. We get Trick Room, though, which can help us stop other mons from clicking Trick Room, because we also get the move Imprison, so we can just shut down Trick Room altogether. This mon also gets Psychic Noise, which would be good for shutting down healing. And then last but not least, I'm allowed to use the female version in this league as well. So if someone preps for the male version and then I bring the female, something the female can do is, like for example, if you have Intimidate on your team and you intimidate into it, now I get a +2 special attack boost, and this mon can hit pretty hard if you let it boost up like that. I'm just saying. So it just gives me another really strong like offensive Pokemon to pair with, like my Archaeodon, my Pelipper, and my Swampert, and it makes my opponents have to think about what they want to prep for and prep. So yeah, that is Saturn. So for the next pick, I really wanted a bulky fire type that could help me with these grass types, and preferably one that isn't like passive as well, because I feel like most fire types fall into the category of being really bulky, but maybe not either being bulky or being really hard hitting, but usually they're not in between, and they are in between. They're typically like mid in my opinion. So for the next round, as you can probably tell, Incineroar's already gone by now. Arcanine Hisui I think was already gone, and I didn't really want Arcanine Hisui on a rain team anyway, so I decided to go with this Pokemon instead in the form of Lucy, the Tauros Paldean Blaze. If you guys watch One Piece, I know another One Piece reference. If you guys watch One Piece, then if you know, you know. And for anyone who's wondering, no, Saturn on the Meowstic is not a One Piece reference. It's something completely different. I just want to throw that out there right now. And I just realized I didn't tell you the girl's name. The girl's name is going to be Rhea. I didn't put that into the thing, but just know we have a girl Meowstic who's shiny, and her name is Rhea. R-H-E-A. Don't forget it. But anyway, we're talking about Lucy right now. Lucy is a bulky fire type because he gets Intimidate. So physical grass type mons are not going to really appreciate Lucy's existence. And in general, Lucy has 100 speed, so we're going to outspeed most, if not all, grass types. I think like the notable ones that were slower than are like Meowscarada and Whimsicott, who don't really do much to us anyway. This mon is like, I feel like firefighting hits a lot of stuff, and it has 110 attack I believe, so it's going to hit pretty hard, and you have 100 speed, so you're going to be pretty fast too. And because of Intimidate, you know, we can, if we ever need to invest into both, we can just invest to the Spadef, because we know one, the Spadef is kind of, you know, mid, but because of Intimidate, we don't really worry about physical attacks too much. And the main things this mon will click are like, you get CC, you get Raging Bull to break screens, you get Flare Blitz, you get Rock Slide for spread damage. Like, this mon can be very annoying. But yeah, that is Lucy. Next on the team roster, I knew I needed to get another Mega at this point. So since Swampert's like physical attack, I really wanted a special attacking Mega. And also, I need to make sure that my thumbnail isn't clickbait. So for the 6th round, we decided to pick up none other than Kaguya, the Mega Gardevoir. Please excuse me for that. But yeah, we got Mega Gardevoir. So what my thought process is, if we have a strong physical attacker, we should get a strong special attacker. And I feel like Gardevoir and Meowstic pair really well together, because Meowstic can set terrain for Gardevoir to just spam Expanding Force, which for those of you that aren't aware of this, Expanding Force is normally a single target move, but on Psychic Terrain it becomes a double target move, and it also doubles in power. It goes from 80 power to 160, and I'm just saying that's a 160 Psychic move coming off of a Pokemon with base 165 special attack, so good luck taking that. Not to mention, it has the ability Pixelate, which not only turns normal type moves into fairy moves, it also gives you a 20% boost on top of them. So this mon with Hyper Voice spam is going to be really, really strong. You basically cannot wall this thing, because you hit poison types who would threaten you, but you can also hit fire type, not fire types. I mean, you hit fire types with psychic moves, but you can also hit steel types because you get mystical fire. Not to mention we have a Tauros and a Swampert on our team, so we have different ways to deal with steals anyway. So yeah, Gardevoir I feel like is a really good fit on this team. It's going to be a really strong, hard-hitting special attacking Mega Captain, and I'm very happy to have it. And I can actually tell you guys and confirm this was my 2nd ever Pokemon at Ralts, because I remember when Wally caught one, I just assumed this is what we're supposed to do too. Because if I'm being real, when I got my starter, I just started killing Pokemon in the freaking like grasses. I didn't really like try to catch anything until I met Wally. And I remember distinctly just sitting in the grass till I saw a Ralts, because I felt like that's what I was supposed to do for the story, just to find out as an adult. That's not really what was supposed to happen. But it is what it is, right? But yeah, Gardevoir, you're on the team. Happy to have you. So at this point, I decided, you know, let's just try to fill out some roles. So, you know, there might be some matchups where Meowstic might not look favorable despite its prankster abilities. So I decided let's get one more prankster mon who can basically do what Meowstic does, but it can be better in different matchups. I decided to go with none other than Liepard, who I nicknamed Nico Robin. You know, another One Piece reference. If you know, you know. But Liepard basically does everything Meowstic can do, with the additional effect of this thing gets Encore. However, we don't get Psychic Terrain and Trick Room on this Pokemon though. But we get pranksters. So if a mon sets like Trick Room, we can just encore them into Trick Room, and then they'll have to do it again and basically undo their own Trick Room anyway. But outside of like those two things, like Life Hard and Meowstic honestly do the exact same thing. So I'm not going to take too much time talking about Life Hard here. Just know anything I said about Meowstic for the most part can be applied to Life Hard as well. So I've been complaining about my inability to deal with grass types this entire draft, so of course I needed another mon to help me with these grass types. So I decided, you know, we're low on points if it's not obvious with like my first 6 picks. So I decided to get a mon that I feel like everyone look. You know, when I see other people use it, it looks really cool. So I felt like I can make it look cool too. Not to mention, hey, this mon has a really cool afro just like I do. We decided for round, what is this, round 8, we would pick up none other than Mr. Kinkaneki the Trevenant, if the afro part didn't give it away already, you know. But I don't really know a lot about this Pokemon. I just know like when I see other people use it, it looks pretty cool. You get Will-O-Wisp, you get priority Sucker with Sucker Punch, and I think you get Shadow Sneak as well. You get stab moves like Wood Hammer and Poltergeist, so they hit really, really hard. You get Trick Room, so I have 3 different ways on this team to set and reverse Trick Room if needed. And then this Pokemon also gets a signature move called Forest Curse, which means I can add the grass type of stuff, which depending on what I'm adding it to, I can make you like weak to Tauros or Pelipper when you already weren't in the past. And I feel like that can be like nichely good depending on the situation. But yeah, that's the extent of what I know about Trevenant, so I'm not going to try to, you know, keep you guys here longer than what's necessary, but I'm looking forward to using it. It's that simple. So once again, I needed a mon that could help me with these grass types. I also need a redirection on my team. I think with those 2 sentences alone and the fact that we're in round 9 kind of just gives away what the Pokemon is. So without further ado, because I don't want to keep you guys in the dark, we decided to pick up Charlotte, the Ariados, mainly here for its redirection, because Swamper's only weak to grass. So if we redirect grass moves into this thing, who is 4 times, and it's kind of crazy, Swamper is 4 times weak, this one is 4 times resistant. So if we redirect into Ariados, like, yeah, you're not getting to my Swamper anytime soon. This mon has decent enough bulk to make use of that too. You also get access to moves like String Shot, which for those that don't know, it's a spread move, and it drops the speed by 2 if I'm not mistaken. It might just be 1 and I'm tripping, but it also gets Electro Web, which does the exact same thing. So this mon is really good at speed control, I can tell you that much. It also gets priority with like First Impression and Sucker Punch. What it does beyond that, I'm gonna be real with you, I really don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, it's mainly here for redirection, and I'm happy to have you, Charlotte. So for the next round, I really wanted Mega Raichu X as my 3rd Mega, because you're allowed to have 3. So I said, screw it, let's get 3. But I wasn't able to get it because it got sniped literally right before me by Josie, you know. They're looking forward to using it. I have to just accept it for what it is. I mainly wanted Raichu X so we could, one for Lightning Rod for Pelipper, but also so I can set terrain for my Archaeodon, who would really benefit from it, because Electric Shot on terrain goes burn. So I decided to go with the next best thing in the form of Mega Magnetric, who I nicknamed Sasuke. If you watch Naruto, look at this thing and tell me this is not something you would name Sasuke, bro. Lightning, red eyes, you look edgy like a Sasuke too. You know what, I'm gonna leave it at that. But this guy is mainly here to be like a supportive Mega, as crazy as that sounds, because you get Electric Terrain, which can benefit Archaeodon. You also get Snarl and Intimidate when you Mega Evolve. Well, it gets Snarl before it Mega Evolves, but I'm just saying, you get Intimidate when you Mega Evolve, and you also have access to the move Snarl. So this mon can be really good at mitigating damage into my team, albeit we can also just set screens with Meowstic. But if we have screens up and we're doing all those shenanigans, you're not killing anything I have, right? And we also have Electric Terrain, which can help Archaeodon as well as benefit us because we're grounded, so we can hit really hard with our electric moves. This mon has base 135 speed, so really good speed here, as well as base 135 special attack, so it's going to hit pretty hard. And it has a wide enough move pool for what it is. You know, mainly just here to, if I'm being honest, it's mainly just here to support Archaeodon and help with like certain like matchups, like for example, Pelipper's want to get hit by freaking electric moves all the time, right? But yeah, that is Sasuke, Mega Magnetric. And to round out my draft, I did not think I would draft 2 bug poison types in the same draft, but here we are. I decided for the last round I'd pick up none other than Mr. Regular Scolipede. So in case anyone's wondering how we got here, His name was Magellan, by the way, in case anyone's wondering how he got here. So I had a friend, one of my teammates picked up Mega Scolipede, and then they were hyping this mod up to me because like the difference, like the support move pool it has. And when I'm looking through the move pool, I'm sitting here like, dang, this thing actually is pretty solid, because you get like Metal Sound, which drops defense stats by 2, which can really benefit Swampert, Tauros. It also gets Acid Spray, which drops special attack by 2, which can really benefit like Gardevoir, Archaeodon, Pelipper. We also get I believe it's called Pounce, and we also get Lunge, I think, which can also drop stuff. Like, Smog can be very annoying. Then you also get Speed Boost, and because of the Speed Boost, it'll always be faster than my Gardevoir and my Swampert, which means it can always be in position to help them do more damage, which I really like. But outside of that, bro, I'm gonna be real, it's a regular Scolipede. I do not know what to expect from this thing. I've only ever seen it in games. I never actually used it, so hopefully we have a good time with it. But yeah, if you stuck around this long, I really appreciate you, because I know your boy gets to rambling sometimes. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a good season. Hope I can provide you guys some really good content for the season as well. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, please remember to like and subscribe. And until week 1, everybody, peace out.